Anthony Mantha just said when he was out here that the message to him is to shoot it a ton and target of 300 shots. Just talk a little bit how you see his role evolving with the team this year.
Well, this is for me the first chance to get to know him, really, of course, because he's new. But when you look at coaching against him over the last number of years, there was nights where you would watch him play and you're like, my gosh, this guy's the best guy on the ice. And you can picture him, whether it be on the one-time side on the power play or coming down on his forehand side. He's got a rocket of a shot. So in some of our conversations this summer, I asked him to shoot the puck more because he's going to be in a position that we're going to need to. One, we're going to need him to be a threat when he's on the ice, and two, if he's going to play with Hubie's a pass-first guy, as we know. So I want him to be ready to shoot. And we feel like if he has a mindset where I got to get up to 300 shots, which is a lot of shots.
Yeah.
Then he's going to score some goals because he's naturally talented that way. So I'm hopeful that he kind of grabs hold of that, and he is selfish when it comes to shooting the puck.
As you said, 300 is pretty high. Like, that's a lot in this league. So what was his reaction when you first said that?
Yeah, well, I don't know if I told him 300. I
Okay.
think it was more 3 per game he's got to have. So
You take 300 though?
Oh my God, for sure, because he's around the puck in that situation. And when you have a skill set and the size that he has, if you're around the puck a lot, things are going to happen both ways. So he's going to play more in the offensive zone. There'll be more opportunity for his line mates because of the kind of the garbage that gets created if one doesn't go in. So that's our hope, is that he comes in and kind of embraces that, and he wants to be a shooter here this year.
Do you guys set shot targets for every player?
No, not particularly. I learned a few years ago, we really pushed our defense to shoot a lot. And over time, guys that didn't like to shoot, and we always talk about RAS, started to shoot the puck more. So if you make them aware of it, eventually you're hoping that it's going to, all right, I see what he's saying. I need to be more of a threat here. One, because it's going to create something else for your team if it doesn't happen to go in.
For a guy like Jonathan, like, you've had shooters on that right side in the past, and there's been a lot of those line mates. Like, if you could draw up an ideal, like, right winger for him or something like that, like, what would that consist of at this stage?
I don't even know. I mean, one thing I'm excited about is the way Hubie's come back. I mean, if we're talking about Hubie again, but I thought that line that we had together today was better today than it was yesterday, in regards to some of the plays they were making and also the pace that they practiced at. So the three of them together were better today, and hey, hopefully that will continue for us as we move forward.
Coach, we saw Sam Honzek score a nice goal to kind of cap off the weekend in Penticton. What's been your evaluation of kind of him as he goes through this main camp experience for the second time?
Yeah, for me, the first game at Penticton, I got a chance to watch the first two games. Much like the rest of our team to start that game, wasn't the greatest. But every game he's played since then and every practice that he's had, I've noticed him now. And for me, it's a little bit of the skating that I'm noticing, that he's pushing his pace, and he's got a bigger frame, so he's a harder guy to play against. And you oftentimes look at younger players, there's a huge learning curve when you get here, and what we as coaches want to see is someone that's getting better every day, and we're most definitely seeing that from him, to the point where the last couple of days in practice he has been one of the guys that I have noticed fairly consistently.
Do you assign, maybe that's not the right word, but do you tell the young guys, hey, I want you to pay attention to him, or do you want them to kind of soak up what they're seeing from everybody?
A little bit is soak up what they're seeing. Now, in Honor's situation, it's a little different because it's soak it up, but also know you can get the job done yourself too. And I think that's what last year's, having him being around for a year, I think he has a better understanding of that now, because I've seen a different guy these two practices than we saw in last year's training camp. And a lot of that has to do with growing up and maturing, and I think having a little bit more confidence in his ability at this level, which is nice to see.
Is Ryan Lomberg the same wallflower you had in Stockton, blend in the background kind of guy?
He was never a wallflower there, and I'm pretty sure he's not going to be here. So, when you look at the people that we brought in again this year, there's a method to the madness. Like, Ryan's got great energy, much like Jacob has. We always talk about Jacob's energy. Ryan's got great energy, where oftentimes he's uber positive, but there is no filter, there's no quieting him down no matter what the situation. I think he's someone that's very infectious, and his teammates really enjoy being around him. And part that I love about him, when you look at our testing, our best guy this year is Michael Backlund again, and that to me says a a ton about him and his leadership ability and his willingness to continue year after year to keep that grind up. The second guy was Ryan Lombard, who played the longest of anybody in our group. So just won a Stanley Cup and he didn't take any time off. So he just missed beating backs by just a little bit. So it's something that I'm really proud of, and that's one of the big reasons why we brought him into our room.
How close is Kevin Ball to being able to?
He's day to day. I mean, they have a plan for how they're going to work with him, and hopefully he's going to be on the ice sooner than later. I'm not expecting him to be on the ice tomorrow, but hopefully we'll see him on the ice sooner than later.
A guy like Martin Frk, who's famously got arguably the hardest shot in hockey.
Yeah.
Do you tell him to lay off in practice?
No.
Or no.
No. I mean, sometimes Vladdy's funny, and I just have Vladdy in my head, because when we would go into Washington in years past at the end of a pregame skate, for whatever reason, Vladdy always got the start in Washington. So he would want, at the end of our pregame skate, Michael Stone to set up and take one-timers at him. And in my head, I'm like, what is wrong with this guy? But that's what they have to face. So they want to get used to facing that. And sometimes they'll feel it through their equipment for sure. And in Furky's situation, he can really pound a puck. And he's very well known for doing that in the minor league. And when he's had recent call-ups in the NHL, he's been able to score because of that shot. So we're excited to have him in the fold as well.